So hi, Ros. Thanks for having me on the meeting. Yeah, no, Ros asked me to share a sort of a word, a prophetic word that I'd sort of experienced when praying yesterday, Monday morning, in fact. And yeah, so it felt it was quite significant. And so I'll take you through it. So it was Monday morning, and I was about to start my, I suppose, fairly routine time of prayer to get the week going. And I'd read something online, I think, to that had reminded me of the film Dunkirk. And so when I went to pray, I was praying for workplace ministry, Christians in the workplace, and I felt God revealed something to me that related to that film that was quite significant. So for those who don't sort of know the actual history, the Dunkirk evacuation happened after the British and Allied forces in Europe were effectively defeated, and they'd retreated back to the coast and had been they were trapped there. They're pinned down by the enemy, and had no way of escape, and were really facing either capture or actual being wiped out completely, which would have been complete loss of the Second World War. And what happened is that a call went out from Winston Churchill, who of course was the Prime Minister, and the King, for help to evacuate these troops that were stranded and trapped, using small boats, because they couldn't get their big Navy vessels close to the beach. So they had to use small boats. And so this call went out, and many hundreds of small boats went over and rescued hundreds of thousands of troops, and then sort of really saved defeat in the Second World War. So as I was praying, I really felt God put me in the shoes of someone who owned a boat at this time, and what they might have experienced, but specifically in relation to Christians in the workplace. And what I had a sense of is, someone who owned a boat, and they would have heard these reports of defeats in Europe. They would have heard about the army retreating, and now being in this really very difficult situation of needing rescue. And they probably would have known soldiers, or known of soldiers fighting, and wondering what will happen to them. What's going to happen. They would have probably felt quite despondent, and that sense of defeat sort of coming over them. And not only that, but they would probably be thinking, well, what's going to happen next? I mean, if we are defeated in Europe, will the enemy come here? Will I be captured? Will the country be captured? What's going to happen? So they would have been fearful of, what's this going to mean for me? But the thing that I felt God really impress upon me was the effect that this call for help with the evacuation would have had on their thinking, and their perspective. Because the moment that call went out, we need small boats to help evacuate the troops, their whole thinking would have changed. They would have gone from feeling despondent, powerless, like, what can I do? I'm just a civilian. I don't have any weapons. I don't have any training. I can't really help with the war effort. I wish I could do more, but there isn't really anything I can do. I'm just watching this defeat happen all around me, but I can't really do anything about it. They would have gone from that to feeling like, I can do something. I have the one thing in my possession that is needed for the war effort right now, that could actually help win the war. I've got it in my possession. I know what I can do. And they would have become extremely motivated, not just motivated, but so determined to help, that they in fact did in practice risk their lives. Sailing these small boats with no weapons across the channel into a war zone to rescue the troops. That is a huge risk for them. So to go from kind of inaction, despondency, to sort of focused, purposeful action that really made a difference and really did rescue not just the troops, but the war effort as well. It's a complete transformation of their thinking and of the course of action that they took. And this was really impressed upon me during this time of prayer, and I think specifically in relation to Christians in the workplace. And I just have a sense that there may be Christians in the workplace who are feeling despondent, who feel like they wish they could do more to advance the kingdom, to see, the gospel advance, but they feel powerless. They feel like the sort of the rise of secular culture is like a defeat. They feel like they've been in retreat for some time, and there's nothing they can do. And worse than that, because we've got, to some extent, a sort of sacred secular divide. They feel like, I've just got to leave this to the professional Christians. I've just got to leave this to, the sort of church leaders or the professional evangelists, or, the big sort of ministry organizations. But those are like those big Navy vessels that couldn't get close to the beach. They couldn't get close to the people who actually need rescue. And actually, I think what God is saying is, no, what we need now is every Christian in the workplace to be involved in the rescue effort. The work of the gospel in that sense is a rescue mission. It's an ongoing rescue mission to save those who are like those troops in the Second World War. They are facing a terrible fate if they're not rescued. And I just feel like God is saying it is everybody, and the call in that sense is going out, and it's specifically about Christians knowing that they have in their possession everything they need to take a vital part in, if you like, the spiritual battle that is going on, and that it isn't about having been to theological college for 3 years. It is actually about being present in their organization. The sort of professional Christians that we have, good as they are and necessary as they are not in your organization in that sense. They're not there. They don't have those relationships. And I think it is, to a very great extent, a call to pray. One thing we've, in Transform UK, we found through both our own experience, but also confirmed by some really good research that was done, is that actually Christians praying in the workplace makes a bigger difference to their organizations for the gospel, for the kingdom, than anything else. And so actually, I think, this is a kind of a call to pray and a call to act. But it's specifically about every Christian, and not it's not someone else, because the other people who are not in your organization can't get to the people who need rescue. They can't get into the place the way you can, and are already there. And so I think God is saying you have everything in your possession. In fact, you have the very thing that is needed in your possession, and not just your role and place in the organization, but the Holy Spirit, your knowledge of God, your knowledge of the gospel, and as the Bible describes it, the mind of Christ. You have everything you need right now, and to fulfill this call. So it felt like kind of quite a significant time of prayer. We've already started praying into it. I'm sure we'll pray more, but we wanted to get that message out to those who we think may need to hear it.